let's talk about the first 8 minutes of Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter, a movie that comes out next week.
Next week, Friday, December 13th.
Correct. And why people think that it's going to suck only because Sony has put out the first 8 minutes, which is not the first time any studio has done this. The Dark Knight has done it. Who else has done it? Avatar 2, I believe, did it.
Ugh.
Regardless, it is
what it is.
Yeah, exactly. What else did it? I can't remember anything else that did it that was recent memory. Anyway, so the point is, do we think that Sony, because they dropped these first 8 minutes, do we think that they're really, trying to reel us in, make us think that it's great when it's really not?
I think they're trying to combat any bad press and controversy with their past Sony's Marvel films. You go back to the beginning of this year with Madam Web. Venom got mixed reviews. I don't think it hurts. I think they're just trying to get that last minute attention as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with that. And I feel like if the rest of the movie is even half as good as Kraven the Hunter's first 8 minutes, I think we've got to win. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is going to be the greatest movie that we saw in 2025, but I really do feel that this trailer was great. I mean, it felt like I was watching Mission Impossible. It felt like I was watching not a Sony movie in the sense of Madam Web or even Venom 1, 2, or 3. Hell, these 8 minutes were better than the whole movie of Morbius and Madam Web combined. But I will say this, though. They did a better job with this trailer. Well, not trailer, but they did a great thing by dropping the first 8 minutes, because now I wouldn't say hyped for the movie, but I had faith that this movie was going to be okay. I had faith that it might have been just as good, if not better, than Venom 1.
I wouldn't go that far. Venom 1's the best.
Okay, that's fine.
Venom 1's the best Sony Marvel film outside of the Spider-Man films and all that. The more recent films. I think you and me were always of the opinion on the upbeat side that this movie had potential, but has that Sony stigma to it. I think if, like you said, if this movie lands what we were presented right here, then I think we're in for an enjoyable movie. I mean, I don't know if it's not gonna, be wow, best movie ever, but if we could just ignore the interesting, controversial Sony shitstorm that we had, I think we're good for a moment. It felt a little bit like, it had a little bit Rambo flair to it.
Rambo, you said?
Rambo.
Okay.
I mean, just the fact that he's killing everybody, not the fact that he's doing his best John Rambo, Sylvester Stallone impression, but the fact that he's wiping out all the bad guys by all means necessary. But that was sick that in the trailer, how he kills.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Don't go. I see where you're going, but let's start from the beginning. Let's give it a little rundown of the first 8 minutes.
Right.
So it starts off with what? We see Kraven the Hunter just standing at a gas station?
Yeah, right? Standing. It looks like he's with the prisoners that's off the prison, but he's behind the building. And, the prison guard comes looking for him, says the number, they stop for a piss break, and then he gets back on the prison transport. And then he arrives, he meets his roommate, it's like, oh, they're not
They had an exchange of words.
They're not thrilled to see each other, but he's like, I give it 3 days. So all to get FaceTime, he has an incident in the yard, lifting weights, saying, these guys said, oh, this is a private area. And then he flexes his power, his strength, and then that catches the attention of the guards. The prison is actually run by this Russian gangster. You know, it's all planned to get FaceTime with him so he could get close to basically slice his throat, or I don't want to say slice, stick a knife in the side of his throat.
Well, it wasn't even a knife. It was okay, so he's standing on top of a tiger, right?
Right.
A dead tiger that they used to turn it into a rug, right? So he just, as he's sitting there petting the tiger, he just nonchalantly just rips out its tooth and then starts stabbing everybody with it. And we're not talking about stabbing like 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 PG-13. Like we're talking about hard R stabbing. You see blood splurting out, leaking and everything. And it was a good, I would say 2 seconds. It's just looking at that stab wound, which I thought was so like this is what Venom should have had from the beginning.
Yeah, this movie needed the R rating. There was going to be nothing PG-13 about this. And then we see him fight off the prison guards, do an epic prison escape, which
pull a Tom Cruise running over the building and everything.
And do a Tom Cruise, or did what Quicksilver should have done in Age of Ultron. Dodge the bullets.
Yes, dodge the bullets. He did that. And the only thing that I personally did not like about the first 8 minutes is the fact that I get that he's trying to be more like animalistic, right?
Right.
So I could see how he's jumping and climbing like a monkey and everything like that. But when he's jumping from that top of the jail cells, right? On that top rafter, I guess, or the skyline, whatever the hell it is, and he's jumping onto the wall and he's just climbing, it felt so fake. Like that was my only issue. Like the way he's crawling on the doors and everything.
Maybe an indirect nod to Spider-Man because he's a Spider-Man villain. Like that's what I was thinking of. How as he was scaling up the wall.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I didn't think of it that way, but it does make sense. But again, it was so cheesy. Like I was like, oh, that's bad. Like you can tell, like at that point they had like wires on him as he's, I'm doing this, guys. Hey. And like, that's the only thing I hated. Other than that, I think it was a great first 8 minutes, something that would make me excited to go and watch this movie. And I think it did that for me personally.
Right.
What about you?
It shows this movie has promise.
Yes.
Like, again, I'm trying to ignore the Sony shitstorm that's above it. It definitely has promise as a fun action movie to go just see blood and action everywhere. And it's off to a good start. And he looks badass. It looks kick-ass. But it's just 8 minutes. It's just a full sample size. We got to see the pacing, how he doesn't, in the full 2 hours of a movie, how he is as a quote-unquote hero or the protagonist.
See, that's what I hate. Let's not make him a hero. He's not. He's never been a hero till before he died.
He's gonna be the anti-hero, but hopefully by the end we see the full evolution into the villain that he's supposed to be.
Yes, I would be totally okay with that. Now, here's another thing I want to bring up: directors and writers, right?
Right.
So the director of this is J.C. Chandor, which, for anybody that doesn't know, I have no idea of any of the movies that he has directed. And I looked him up. I don't see anything that he's produced or directed that I know of. But the writers that he has for this movie is Richard Wenk, Art Markham, and Matt Holloway. Now, these three writers are known for the Equalizer movies, the Expendable movies, the Transformers movies, the first Iron Man, Uncharted. This is where we start to go downhill. Uncharted, Men in Black International. Yeah. Transformers Last Night. And that's pretty much it.
One
of the writers, Matt, what is his name? Matt Holloway. He also wrote Punisher Warzone, which to me was an awesome movie. It was a movie that really personified Frank Castle as this badass who didn't give a shit and just started killing everyone for
That's
no
the one with Ray
reason.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Rest in peace.
Yes, sir. So I don't think, I think the 3 writers that are attached to this have done decent movies, have written decent movies.
Right.
Let's make that clear. And I feel like we might, I don't know about having a hit, but it might be one of those movies that just randomly.
Well, they have history and success on their side in the action genre. You know, did their writing magic to give this movie hope.
Right.
And we saw the potential in this first 8 movies. So I'll just sum it up that what we were given and shown is that this movie is promising, and I'll just leave it at that. And it gives me hope that maybe you'll get a good movie after all, or a decent movie.
Right. Exactly. I agree. So the question goes out to you guys. What do you guys think? Did you like the first 8 minutes? Did you hate it? Do you feel like this movie is going to be a shitty ass movie just like Madam Web or Morbius? Let us know in the comment section down below.